Alright, so this is part 2. Alright, so my theme is post-apocalyptic, right? So I just put a little check mark. And then from there, these are my keywords, right? And then that leads us into collecting the images on Adobe Stock, which I will show right now. Here we are. I logged in. I type in your post-apocalyptic, right? And so you start searching, and you know, I'm looking here, and you just start downloading. For example, I mentioned before, like this here. Let's say I look for a cave. My theme is where there's several individuals that escaped incoming doom due to a meteor or asteroid or whatever that's crashing down and destroying LA. No, nothing against LA. It's an iconic skyline, and LA has like mountains and stuff, and it makes sense. Like you're not gonna see that in New York because it's mainly cities, and the mountains are way up in upstate New York, whereas LA has mountains closer by. Blah 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 blah. So there's like for example this cave, right? You click it, and this is the button. The blue button is what is downloaded. The blue button. I repeat, the blue button. Because if it's clicking here, this is the preview. It should be the preview. Oh. Well, see, right there, see? Download preview. Because I downloaded this before, and that's why it worked. Meaning that I downloaded through the right way previously. And then if I were to download it again, like in this demo, it says here re-download for free, meaning it's going to be the regular one. Hence, but this one I've never downloaded before. It says download preview. This one, download preview. See, typically, but see, this says licensed, meaning that I already downloaded it and it's licensed to me. I just see this as a downloaded clue that tells me I already downloaded it. And then with that in mind, also anything that's downloaded will be shown under my libraries under your library. And this is super helpful in case there were previous images that might have been skipped, but now you want to go and try to grab them again. And see, tons and tons and tons that I downloaded over the course of the past couple of years. All this stuff, and there's more and more and more and more and more and more. Anyway, I'll go back. Excuse me. So let's say caves. I downloaded a whole bunch, and then like I know I already downloaded that. I think I did. And let's see what else. So just assuming, right, collecting a lot of images and whatnot, like for example this one here. Let's see, you hit download, and then you choose. If there's an option for PNG, always go for the PNG because it has a cutout. And then download, and then I'll save it as, say for example, cave entrance 3, something like that. And then I grab it, And then let me see, let me grab something else. One second. So here's my on the desktop apocalypse theme, right? I got a bunch of stuff. I grab this and dump it here. So for example, if I undo it, here's my downloads folder, right? I grab it and just store it in here, into this folder. Organization is super important. All right. So that's just the whole process. And like I mentioned before, grab a lot, tons, because there's going to be luck involved due to trying to match the perspective, due to trying to match the lighting, you know, things like that. And also, like, if there's like blurs and lighting effects, that's gonna not work if that happens, you know. And then in closing, should I say in closing, it's been like what, 6 minutes. Just a reminder again, background plate, night skies, 4 or more background plate, main one, 4 more non-essential props, characters, lighting effects, 4 more foreground and background props, meaning like important props for the foreground and background, and basically anything that fits the mood or genre. So that's the collection process. Here's some of it, right? I got like a moon, cave entrances, cave with man, clouds, dog, Goron guy in a post-apocalyptic city. I just named these. This is just really helpful, especially when I'm explaining things. Downtown LA, infernos, different infernos. I collect these because it's not to literally use it as a backplate, but to also grab colors from it, you know, because I can just change the blending mode, right? So for example, if I grab this, make a new one, and then immediately if I just change this, see, like that, and then you know, I'm going off tangent a bit, but do this, put a layer mask and use the brush tool, make the brush bigger. And let's say if I wanted this brightness, just this brightness only, right? Just give me a quick demo. Black color onto the mask, layer mask. Ooh, and then change this to 0 hardness. Big brush, super big, and just tap away like this. See? That way, this is the basic strategy I'm talking about, like that. See? All from just, you know, collecting the images. See? Using basically the color, like grabbing assets to use as a stencil, you know, and then setting the screen and different types of overlays, and then putting a mask on it and taking away areas. That's the reason why. When I mentioned about you know, anything that fits the mood or genre. All right. So now I want to talk about, and going back to this. See, 4 more meteors. I got several different tents, cities, skyline, clouds and moods, blah blah blah. I had more. It's just they're on a different folder, different drive, so there's more than this. Main thing is just collect a ton. All right, now let me me just close this. Nope. And then let me just save that. So file, new. I'm gonna talk about the artboard and new document. I'm gonna name it mood board, and then I'm just gonna make it like, I don't know, like 5,000 by like 5,000, and then this is whatever, and then RGB 8-bit is fine, and then blah 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 blah. All this is default. Hit create, and here's the mood board. So from there, right? So let's say cave entrance. If I grab and I chuck it here, yeah, like that. So there's one, right? I did not dump it into here. I'd rather choose, just grab it like this, right? Make sure this is the move tool, V as in Victor, right? You drag it with left mouse click and hold and drag it to here, drop it. See? And then I name it, cave 1 perhaps, and then right click on it, convert to smart object. Always remember, there's a reason why. And then Control T as in Tom, make sure this link is on, and then hover over, scale it down super small, something like that. Maybe just click outside, and if I want, I can just turn this off, so you can kind of see it like this. And there, K1. And then this, I just get rid of it. And then I'll go back, maybe cave opening, right? And I grab it, left click and hold, drag it. It's gonna light up like this, and then let go. I name this cave 2. I right click it, convert to smart object, Control T, make sure this is on, smoosh it down, chuck it over here, let go. So that's the mood board process. So you want to do that for all of them. I'm going to close this, like here, and then all this stuff I collected, and I just made sure to name them, also to convert them to a smart object before shrinking them. I repeat, convert them to a smart object before shrinking them. That has to be acknowledged and done, because there's a workflow to it and all that stuff, yada yada yada. Let me see if I can find that mood board that I made. 1 second. Alright, so here's the mood board example, and then here are the images. They're all smart objects originally. Let me just get rid of this. Yeah. Named and smart objects. Again, there are smart objects before they were scaled down. And I repeat that because it preserves the overall quality of the image when it's converted to a smart object before scaling. Because if you scale it and then convert it to smart object, it's just, there's no point to it to do that, because it's just gonna make the image of a lesser quality in general. Okay, so all that's set up, and I'm gonna show you an example of something else. So this canvas size, let me see here, what's this canvas size on this thing? 5,000 by 5,000, right? Now here, let's see if a student were like, I don't care, I'm gonna just do whatever I want, right? And what's the big deal if they were to just grab one of these and just chuck it in here directly, right? So let's say this image. This image is 6,000 by 5,000. So it's a huge image. Now if I were to grab this and throw it in here, right? Because I know for a fact that some students have done this. And like, oh, what's the big deal? It's a good size. You just make it smaller, you know? But the thing is that this is at 100%. It is not a smart object, right? So how can this thing that is originally 6,000 by 5,000 and it confirms it to be 100% while this canvas, right, let me just uncheck everything, this canvas is 5,000 by 5,000. So it was automatically made smaller, and basically the quality, wait a minute, was it this one that I grabbed? Right, it was, right? I could have swore this wasn't a smart object. Let me undo this one more time, and then I'm gonna go back, grab this, dump it here. See, it's not a smart object. So like regardless, I don't trust doing it that way. That's why it's better to go in, right, and then go like say control open, and then in here, and say you open this naturally like that, but that's a bit of a drag, you know, because if I grab it like this, right, I dump it here, so you can see that it's a large size. This one is 3,000 by 4,000 by 3,000, and when you put in here, it's about equivalent because this canvas is 5,000 by 5,000. Right click, smart object, tent 3, smart object it, and then you shrink it like so, and then you kind of place it somewhere like that. So like I said, best thing to do, least painful thing to do is, for example, this moon, grab it, not throw it in here, just throw it out here, something like here, so it's own thing. Then from here you drag it and you dump it in here, then you right click, smart object, and then you shrink it and put it there like that. See, and that way it leaves no room for error basically, and it's super simple. You just drag it and dump it, drag it and dump it, convert it, name it, shrink it, and that's it. And that's your smart object. I'm going to end the video here, but the next video is going to show how converting all of these into smart objects ahead of time before shrinking it will actually make the workflow so much faster, because you'll be working off of this mood board instead of working off of the folder, drag and dropping it from the folder. You'll be working off of the mood board instead. These are self-contained, and their quality is also self-contained and not compromised, and that I can grab it and use it all in its own instead of carrying on an entire folder around, which I'm going to show in the next video. Hence, when I talk about the workflow and how it's going to be faster this way. Alright, that's the end of this video. Bye.